Hello? Can you hear me? Don't exit this room, okay? This isn't a mistake. This room isn't a mistake.
Help Wanted is an interesting game. A compilation of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 3 with some mini-games added in to add context to the other characters, it truly did seem to be a recap of the series up until that point, all while introducing the next plotline going forward. It was also the first game to reintroduce the concept of a phone guy-esque character since FNAF 3's Phone Dude, or to a lesser extent, Henry's role in Pizzeria Simulator. And this new character would be the Tape Girl. In Help Wanted, you play as a playtester testing out the new FNAF VR game, which was made primarily to play off the murky history of Freddy's as rumors. Though, as you're playing along, you start discovering these hidden tapes, and alongside them you start to see a haunting rabbit character getting closer and closer. These tapes are left behind by the Tape Girl, a former playtester who detected an anomaly amongst the code. Initially, the anomaly was first spotted by another playtester named Jeremy. No relation to the night guard or the missing child, Jeremy. But soon afterwards, she documents seeing it for herself once she is made the primary playtester. Here is what she has to say.
I saw it for the first time today. There was a character I couldn't make out who it was, standing at the end of the hall. I thought it was just bugged out, so I made a note of it and kept playing. But then it was looking in the window, and not like Chica or Bonnie would. It was like it was actually looking in the window, seeing what I was doing.
This anomaly is the rabbit that we see becoming more tangible as the game progresses. To get this out of the way, this is Glitchtrap, some form of an embodiment of Afton that was picked up from the animatronic computer chips sent by the client, Fazbear Entertainment, to Silver Parasol Games, for whom Tape Girl works. Tape Girl notes that while Jeremy deteriorated as he tested the games, neither her coworkers or managers seemed concerned. They took notice, but instead of stepping in or helping, they were setting up to let him go, starting to crack down on him as an excuse to fire him, while priming Tape Girl to take over after he was gone. This climaxed in a nightmarish event where Jeremy, from the implications given, assumedly cut off his face with a guillotine paper cutter. After this, Tape Girl took over as a playtester, and that was when her time with the rabbit began. Now the only one left to face the anomaly, she documents her attempts to seal it away, making these tapes to guide in how she did it in case it returns. Unfortunately, by creating these tapes, she makes a safe spot for the anomaly to hide in. Around the same time, their development team was being taken off of the game, along with Tape Girl discovering that the game itself was just a ruse for Fazbear Entertainment to play off the rumors of the old Freddy's, which are actually true. On her last tape, Tape Girl provides directions on a way to false fuse with the anomaly, somehow now knowing that it wants to escape the machine through a person and suggesting that doing so, and then resetting, should flush the anomaly out of the system. It's unclear how she knows about this merging process or why she thinks this would work, but I will get back to that later. Tape Girl herself is quiet and attentive, and seems to be pretty good at her job, to the point where she is able to unintentionally assist in making Glitchtrap unstoppable. But the fact that she was able to do that is something. Though like Phone Guy, she is also just a schmuck down the rung of the ladder with managers, lawsuits, and other people of the dev team. When Jeremy goes mad and can no longer test the game, she's put up on the chopping block, and the way she words it was stuck doing it.
I knew I was in line to do the testing next. They'd been prepping me for it. I guess they knew that Jeremy would need to be replaced soon.
Tape Girl is frustrated with the state of the company, with the lies that are being told and the cover-ups, but seems entirely unable to do anything beyond what she attempted to do. She ends up finding out the truth about Freddy's and about the entire cover-up between them and the maker of FNAF. Yes, it's a little complicated, but there's nothing she can actually do about it. She's also apparently one of the only people who knows the truth about what's really going on. But that's it. See, after you get all the tapes, we don't really know what happened to Tape Girl. Apparently she was just moved off the project and all those problems and loose ends were just covered up. And I know what you might be thinking. If Tape Girl went through the exact same thing as Jeremy and Vanessa, to the point where she not only saw Glitchtrap but knew about his attempts to merge them together, then why wasn't she possessed? How was she the only one who avoided this entirely, and how did she know this supposed fix if she hadn't even tried it? Why does she suddenly proposition this idea in the last tape, even though none of the tapes leading up to it suggested it? I don't know. But here's some other questions that I have. Why does Vanny have a separate voice actress from Vanessa? Why do the teaser emails say Ness bought numerous masks? Why would Vanny paint her name on a wall? Let alone when it's so easy to connect to Vanessa that even Freddy notices it. I've heard rumors that Tape Girl was supposed to return in Security Breach and got cut. I've had trouble trying to source these, but I can't even begin to list off the amount of cut content from Security Breach. For example, none of Vanny's cutscenes from the 2 big trailers leading up to the release of the game made it into the game. And I don't think anyone will argue that the current story wasn't the one that they had originally billed to us, as we don't even get Shattered Freddy, and from the numerous voice lines in the game, we know him becoming Shattered was a huge plot point. Before I continue from this point, I would like to forewarn that I'm going to be going into some speculation and my feelings. I'm not saying this is what was planned or that this was going to happen and got changed. I really have no idea what was planned for Security Breach because there are really so many threads that were cut and tied in different ways. No, I won't say that. What I will say is that Tape Girl should have been Vanny. Give me a second to explain. All those questions I just brought up that don't have answers would have been answered by this change. This would have recontextualized things like Tape Girl accidentally making Glitchtrap save files to hide in, and her just having to know how you can stop Glitchtrap even though it still leads to Vanessa getting possessed. Even adding more to the eerie connotation to how Glitchtrap appears more and more with each of her tapes that you find and listen to. A distorted version of Tape Girl's tapes play when Glitchtrap is around. But imagine the added layer that Glitchtrap is literally distorting her words and mind. She is not your helper. She is Afton's mouthpiece. This would also fix the big problem with the whole Vanessa and Vanny thing. One of the hinges of the Is Vanessa Vanny plotline is this mislead of seemingly being innocent but actually being possessed and working with Afton. But it doesn't work with Vanessa because A, we already know the twist when we're going in, and B, we don't get enough of Vanessa to portray this as she is already portrayed as hostile in the first few moments of the game. And if that's not enough, we have moments where the game telegraphs it so hard that it just comes off as confusing. Vanessa is abrasive and harsh, even if you don't figure out that they have the same name, which you will because I think the subtitles are on by default. You will see her as antagonistic the moment she pops up. Then you have the blatant switch from her to Vanny and Lost and Found. The only way this setup works successfully is if Vanny isn't Vanessa, because if she is, and the reveal is hidden behind a frustrating to get ending, there's no real payoff, and there's no real point to the baiting. All of the hints we get to Vanny's true character, such as in the source code hints and the bits of dialogue before the game came out, showing her being meek and subservient to Afton, fall much more in line with the soft-spoken Tape Girl as opposed to what we are shown of Vanessa. Tape Girl is actively shut down at every avenue by her manager and the others, and seems to be the only one aware and upset that they are being used by Fazbear Entertainment to cover up their crimes. That would have played greatly into how Afton could have easily manipulated her. He could frame himself as the lesser of two evils, warp her into something semi-willing but ultimately puppeteered by him. And as she's a playtester like Vanessa, anything she knows about hacking, she too would likely know. In fact, this could set up how the two are evenly matched, and could also lead the audience to become more convinced that Vanny is Vanessa. Also, it would add another shade to the whole Shadow of Vanny context if Vanny is Vanessa's shadow, or if Vanessa is there to shadow Vanny, who is not really Vanessa but the Tape Girl. Remember how Vanessa had herself transferred to being security? Well, if Vanessa's security and Afton's doing all this shady stuff and people are disappearing and people are breaking in and things are getting broken, eventually her neck would be on the chopping block for that. Even if nobody figured out she was Vanny, even though she's writing their names on the wall and possibly leaving video files on computers, eventually the axe would come down on Vanessa, because Fazbear Entertainment is a huge company and you can't kill off every shareholder. But what if Vanessa transferred herself into being security to stop Vanny? Because she knows who Vanny is, she knows what's happened to her, and she needs to stop her and save her, even if she herself is possessed and doesn't realize it. Suddenly, Vanny toting the name Vanny is clever. Instead of her just stupidly using her own name for her fursona, Vanny is actively attempting to frame Vanessa. Afton and Freddy's themselves have been known to look for a fall guy, and Vanessa, the one who got away, being that scapegoat if something goes wrong would be a clever twist. By getting rid of that loose end and pinning those crimes on someone else, Afton himself could sneak entirely under the radar. Or perhaps have them both be subservient to Afton. She could be the other in the both of you. Both hackers, both possessed, having them play out this good cop, bad cop routine so nobody catches on to the fact that they're playing on the same team. A great idea! Better than, oh, I don't know, child killer William Afton suddenly deciding to not kill a child because he's good at video games and that equates to being a super hacker. A child who just happens to have William's noticeable traits and will likely look somewhat like him after the questionable age gap between this game and the next one. I'm getting off topic. My point is that this character was the key to a golden setup, one that no matter which avenue you choose would have been engaging to the audience. And instead, we probably won't see Tape Girl ever again. If there was any plan for her, it's an over and done deal. We're already at the point where we're far enough away from her point of entry that we're on the out of sight, out of mind category, both in the game lineup and the time skip between Security Breach and Ruin. Vanessa is Vanny. The game where both of them were supposed to be at their peak is over. Their stories are pretty much done. Security Breach is over. That's all, folks. And this probably wasn't the plan anyway. The truth is, in all likelihood, there were just so many weird questions surrounding Tape Girl because she wasn't, a character. She was just a homage to Phone Guy. Why wasn't Tape Girl possessed? Well, because she's not important. Why does Vanny make so many obviously silly moves? Because that's not important. Isn't she cute? Look, she comes on bunny slippers. Don't worry, we got a twist villain who's coming. He's better, I promise. Well, that is the story of the Tape Girl. Missed potential out the wazoo. Definitely think the story could have benefited from using the setup they had with her, but it's too late for that. Maybe next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.